Welcome back to STS Podcast here at Eastwood Recording in Florence, Mississippi. My name is Scott Jones. I'll be your host tonight, and the voice in your head running into sound is going to be Kevin Williams.
Hello.
This evening on deck, we have Cameron, Carlton, and Jay from the group Once We Were Saints. Hey, guys, how you doing?
Pretty good.
What's up, guys? Good. Welcome.
It's great having you here in the studio tonight.
Glad to be here, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
No problem.
Hey, before we get started, I just want to say, Scott, that was one take. That was impressive.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Hey, man.
All right. Now it's your show. Go ahead.
I finally get the ship. All right.
Now that the pressure's on, come on.
I tell you, I was working all day long. Well, guys, I tell you what, listen. So tell me, what are you up to today? What we got going on with your group? I have not seen y'all yet, and I have only met y'all a couple of times maybe in the past and never introduced myself.
Right now we've been basically concentrating on original music and just trying to hone those songs that we've got finished down.
So we're talking about a cover band, not a cover band, but original music. We do covers your own way, maybe? Or?
Yeah, we do a lot of other people's music, but I would never call it covers. It's more like renditions. We do our own versions, or some of the stuff we've done has been inspired by other people's versions of other people's songs.
Okay. So how long have you been here doing this around town? Or do you even play around town?
Last gigs we had were in Raymond. It's a private show very recently, and then played a gig over at the Brick House in Meridian.
Mm-hmm.
She's a brick
house.
It's a really cool, really old place with a big courtyard. It's pretty cool.
It is. Meridian seems like a cool place for that style going on. There's several groups coming out of there.
Yeah.
I've heard for tonight.
Yeah, we got who? We got Cookie Woo and who?
Cookie Woo. I know some bands actually go to Meridian to play. Waking Mars, I think they're trying to do some work up there with them.
Yeah.
Waking Mars have been on the show before.
Yeah,
they've got Meridian has a bunch of singer songwriter people that play solo duo stuff too.
Nice. So this is the whole band, just a 3-piece band.
This is a core band. We have just recently started playing with a guitarist and a mandolin player as well, just trying to do something with that.
that'd be different. That's cool.
Yeah.
Joe Prine and Wesley Prine.
Joe Prine.
Yeah.
Wow, I hadn't heard that name in a long time.
I haven't either.
Yeah, he's actually my guitar luthier.
Yeah, he's bad. He's
Yes.
badass. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to be. Well, I mean, I guess I'm still friends with him, but I haven't seen him in 20 years.
Yeah,
But
he's a good guy, man.
yeah, he is. I used to love. He tried teaching me to do some flat picking, 30 years ago, and that wasn't real good. Not for me, anyway.
He actually did teach me flat picking.
Really?
I took flat picking lessons. Still to this day, I have some picks that he.
Yep. He made me one. That's a
Tortoise
real
shell.
tortoise
I
shell.
still got some. I'm not going to say
I
that.
wish I still had it.
I still have several of those. I actually lost one, and he made me another one. He wouldn't actually do that for just anybody.
Right.
And I had his number 2, the second one he made, and I found it years later. My mother found it years later. She said, "Oh, I found this in the wash. It must be yours." I'm like,
Wow.
Yes, that was mine."
Yeah, I wish I still had that pick.
Right. What is your part in the band? You play guitar, bass, drum?
I play guitar and sing, and for right now, I write most of the original stuff that we're playing, but we've got a bunch of new ideas that we're going to write as a band.
Right. So you got Carlton Rush here on the garbage can job, the bass, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that right.
That's the best position in the band.
And Jay
man.
is your percussionist.
Yes, sir. Percussionist, I like that.
Trying to be professional here. I met him earlier, and I was like, I don't know if he's a drummer. I think he knows a little more than just drumming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I call you percussionist. That's all right.
Thank you.
How long have you been playing with the band?
I've been with the band, met Cameron in 2009.
2009. So this is not just we got together a few months ago.
No.
Nice.
And And Jay and Carlton have been playing together for longer than the three of us have been playing together too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Before this, have you always been like in cover bands or playing music, or is this your first time playing more originals?
No.
So you're pretty much used to this. You're an old veteran around town because I know your name.
Well, I'm old.
Okay. Well, we'll just call you old.
Oh, dude, I'll be a veteran then.
Veteran in music.
Carlton, who all have you played with?
Wow.
Let's keep it to 10 or less.
Well, we did
Tenor
talk.
S, okay.
We did talk about Virgil Brawley earlier.
Yeah.
That's not a bad place to start.
Well, I played, like I said, I played with, I played, I'll just tell you, when I was a kid coming up, I played with a guy, the very first real band I was in was an original band. It was the Lee Ziebert Band. He wrote some really, really good music back in the day. We were just too young and stupid to know that we could make something out of it. And of course, made nothing. And I played in several bands after that. And I played with one, it was a radical band for the day. We had, it was me, one other guy on drums, and a guitar player that was, he was a young black guy. And back in 78 and 79, man, it was kind of, tough, some of the clubs we played. But he was like Jimi Hendrix's son. He could play Eddie Van Halen stuff right after Eddie Van Halen put it on records. I mean, he was just a phenomenal prodigy.
What was his name?
Chester Owens.
Chester Owens.
He still plays music. He's out in Colorado and everything, but he was just really, really good. And worked on way up. I got married, sold off a bunch of stuff, my cars and stuff, and held on to my guitars. I started playing guitar when I was like, 13, 14 years old, and my sister was taking piano lessons, so at the same time, she'd come home and show me what the teacher showed her, and I was playing guitar and keyboards, and then there was this band called Grand Funk Railroad.
Oh, yeah.
And at that moment, I knew instantly what I was going to play for the rest of my life.
Yep.
And so that's how I started playing bass. And moved on up, got married, had kids, played at church just to play. And after the kids got grown in the 90s, started playing with a few people, wound up playing with the Guitar Daddy and Hurricanes for a while.
Oh, maybe that's where I know you from.
Yeah.
I used to play with a band called 11th Hour.
Oh, yeah.
And I can remember when y'all were playing at, what was it, Rhythm and Blues?
Yeah.
Rhythm and Blues.
Yeah.
George Street and all these places.
Oh, yeah.
But then played with, I formed my own band after broke up with the Hurricanes. The drummer at that particular time and I put together a band, and we called it, at the beginning of the band, we called it High Times and the Snake Handlers. But it seemed to offend some people, so we changed it to Third Degree. And so I've been playing under Third Degree since about 99, and I'll put a band together periodically. Like the last version of Third Degree was me, Steve Cook on drums, and James Schultz on guitar. This is a good little band. Had Joe Rogers on keyboard till he moved to a foreign Philippine island.
James Schultz, he used to play with a rival, didn't he? Way back.
I don't think so, because he's a Yankee. He come from Michigan. He moved down to Huntsville, Alabama. He stayed there for a long time.
So he's not from Pearl?
No.
Okay. Well,
He lives in Madison.
I think it's somebody else. Then.
No, he's from, I can't remember the town. I think somewhere close to Flint, Michigan, where Grand Funk come up,
Oh, okay.
But he's a really great guitar player, and I like him. He's a real good dude. Real good people, him and his wife. And,
Plays with Radio Rewind.
Yeah.
Radio.
Tony.
Yeah. Tony, plays with
Tony
Tony.
White.
See, a rival was Tony's band back in the day, so that's where I was. I guess
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah.
He wasn't even here back then.
Okay,
that's right.
Yeah.
And I played with a band called Doug Frank and Triple Threat. And that was a great band.
Yeah,
I loved it. And played with them for about 6 years. And I played with Dan Throgmorton. He does a lot of original music.
I played in the band with Dan a long time ago. We didn't actually get to go play a gig. We joined another band, did a lot of practicing, did a lot of his original music. Really good guy. I see him every few years. But that little band didn't work out, and me and him kind of left and went our own ways. But it's a good guy.
Yeah. I play, we'll play with these guys here. Love this band. But I play with a band, Angela Pittman and Unfinished Business right now. And
Oh, yeah.
we book really heavy out. So.
That's right. That's another one I remember because, I jammed with, TJ was in my band for a little while.
Oh, yeah. Me and Bam, we played together for years. I love him. I love his drumming.
Oh, he's awesome. Yeah. We loved the way he played and everything.
Yeah, oh, yeah. He's unique.
Yeah.
I talked to Angela a good bit back and forth about getting them into certain places and stuff, but I've actually never, I guess I haven't seen them play.
Well, you need to wait a month or so because the band has gone under a serious remake.
Okay.
Overall.
And it is, a major overhaul. I mean, this one here is a better version than it's ever been.
She sounds like a wonderful person. Like I said,
She's a good old girl.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna tell you what, she can belt it out, man. She's a great singer. She really does really good. But we've kind of got some changes going on right now, and it's really working out to the favor of this band. It's pretty good. Now this band that I'm in, when we first got, I guess I've been playing with y'all 2-3 years, maybe 2
No,
years.
Almost 3
Since
years.
spring of 2020.
Wow, I come with COVID, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We caught the call.
Yeah. We lost a bass player on a Wednesday, and you played with us the next Wednesday. So
Yeah.
But we had all played together at jams. I used to host these jams around town, several different places, and we have all played together over the years, and so it was a good fit. And the unique thing about this band is, of course, you can already tell by some of the people I said I've played with in the past and everything, but the uniqueness of this band is we're actually a band that can actually have dynamics.
yeah.
You cannot have dynamics if you're turned to 10, So,
Sure can.
but this band here, it's like I play with bands, sometimes people want me to come play with a fill-in or whatever. And it's like we go to a restaurant, like tomorrow night I'm playing at Catherine's. You go to a restaurant, it's full of people eating. 7:00, they want the band to start. Well, everybody's trying to talk, and it's like screaming across the table and everything to get to try and talk to one another. The bar guys coming out there raising hell because I can't hear the bar orders and this, that, and other. I don't get it. Why don't we start at 8 or 9 when everybody's that's going to stay there is there? But
there are a few things that I see like that. Another thing like that is TVs on the stage behind where the band's playing.
Yeah. I wish that wasn't a thing.
Yeah, that's a distraction.
And, you don't have to. I understand you can't maybe cut it off remote control because it may cut off other TVs or link, but you got a little button underneath, you can cut that monitor off.
Yeah.
you can unplug it.
And if you're going to have a good music scene, it's got to be the whole package.
Yeah.
And you can't bring a great band in there. I'm sitting there trying to take pictures of Cookie Woo one time, and there's 2 monitors behind them, and I had to get at the weird angles just to get that TV out.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff's even a distraction to me as a player.
As a player, as
as a player,
watching
if I'm on the stage and there's like Mississippi State's playing ball,
You're watching that.
I'm gonna be watching the ball game.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I need it turned off.
Well,
so I can concentrate.
Yeah, why can't they just play LSU? Nobody cares.
even though they have those monitors
I shouldn't have said that.
even though they have those monitors
wasn't
as a
gonna curse.
courtesy to their patrons, I think that if you're paying a band, it's a disservice to somebody you're already paying to have them something distracting behind them.
Right.
Yeah.
Most of those places have a lot of TVs anyway.
All right, Jay, I'm sure you didn't start playing drums in 2009.
Oh, no.
Right. So before 2009, what was Jay doing?
Okay, so I started drums in school, 6th grade.
Marching band?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Snare.
Yeah. Started on snare, and then started playing the
We called them
toms.
tri-toms.
Yeah.
If you had 3 or...
Yeah, we had 4, So I played those through high school, played timpani drums.
I remember playing football in high school, and the one thing you can hear, the only thing you can hear in a football helmet out playing on the field is the band, and especially those drums, you know,
Yeah,
and
that
that would
cuts
get
through.
you going to this day. As a kid, I used to, I've always gone through the Shelby County Fair. We got a cabin there, and I would stand out behind the pavilion, behind the drummer, and watch the drummer. Now, I'm about as uncoordinated as you can get, and I cannot play, but I love watching drummers. They're my
Well-
favorite thing. When I play bass, I'm just with the drummer. I don't care about anybody else in the whole building.
And so my first band situation was we got me and my friends, some of my friends got a band together, and we played the school talent show, and we won it. We were like, wow. You know, so that was my first live gig.
You got
I
a little
guess.
taste of it early, and
Right.
now, yeah.
And
all these years later.
actually, Robbie Pig played bass in that band for us. I don't know if you know Robbie. He played with South of 20 for a long time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
But anyway, we went to school together. But that was a fun little band. And then after that, I played around a few different groups, different styles of music. And I actually took about a 5 or 6 year break, quit playing, and went over to my friend's house one day. He said, hey, my buddy's got a studio. You want to go check it out? I'm like, yeah, sure. You know, get over there. They have a set of drums. I'm like, oh, look, can I play? You know, I hadn't played in a while. And jammed with them, and I played with them 6 years prior to meeting Cameron.
Nice.
And they were all original band at the time. And actually, they're playing out now. All In is the name of the band.
Okay.
And they're a bunch of older people. Brother's bass and the guitar player, and the bass player's wife plays keyboards. But that's how I really got back into playing music and started going to open mics. That's how I got back into the music scene.
That works.
And did that, and through that, that's how I met him.
Mm-hmm.
Eric O'Shea was his bass player at the time. Their drummer quit him, and me and Eric had been playing at the open mic at the pub in Ridgeland, and he told him to call me, and
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah, and an ironic twist there is the very first gig that we played with Jay, we rehearsed one time and then played a show. It was the Sweet Potato Queens Come On In party in 2009 at the Hilton.
Yeah.
And right before us, like this is our first gig, right before us, Chad Wesley Band played. And then right after us,
Doug Frank.
it was Doug Frank, Triple Threat Carlton played. So, you know, kind of bring it full circle. Like,
Oh, I had to add one more band. I was in a band called Third Eye. I played with a guy called Chris Blue. You know Chris Blue?
I remember the name.
He worked at Tracks in the mall.
Yes.
Chubby guy.
Yeah, I'm not personal friends with him, but I know you're talking about.
Yeah. But that we played at the Back Door in Brandon at WC Don's, and
Yeah.
WC Dons.
did all
Wow.
that while I was at Hines when I was going to Hines. I was in the band at Hines also.
The time frame during that time, that was like 90s?
Yeah, early
90s. Had to be the
Mid-90s.
original WC Dons.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
by the tracks.
Yeah.
The drum riser was scary.
Oh, yeah. The whole place was scary.
I saw
Yeah.
I saw a flock of seagulls there.
I did too. I was there.
Yeah.
It was a good show.
Yeah, it really was.
When they opened up, I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was an interesting place. You know, they had towards the end they had like ropes. They had a hole in the wall with a rope through it, the knot tied on the other side, and they'd just lower the whole wall down at
Oh
the
my
end.
gosh.
Flinghammer was playing one time, and it was raining, and water was just pouring over everything. And I was like, somebody's going to die.
Yeah.
But they're so good, we can't quit watching. I mean, they're not stopping, so I'm not stopping. Nobody died.
Yeah,
Hey,
I went to WC Don's once. I mean, I had no idea what that place was like, and when I drive up and it's a
Saw so many
So
bands.
it's a
Johnson-
friggin'
there.
trailer, you know. I'm like,
Yeah. Is this
Really?
it?
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, this is it. And I don't even think anybody was playing when we went. But
Mick
I went
Ron-
inside and I was like, let's go. So
Hey,
we went to Town Creek.
A lot of good bands come through. A lot of bands come through there. Mick Ronson that used to play with David Bowie.
Faith No More.
Ian
played
Hunter.
Yeah.
Ian Hunter.
Yeah, they both played there.
Yeah, right. Because what happened was Mick Ronson had cancer, and he just before he died, he wanted to tour and do some small things, you know, and he toured around and did that before he passed away.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard a tale of the Tubes playing there,
Mm-hmm.
and Terry couldn't pay him, so they took most of his equipment.
I saw Tommy Two-Tone there, but he billed it on
Really?
the wrong night, so it was just me and about 5 or 6 other people.
Oh,
And
wow.
he wasn't going to play until they went in the back, and to come back out, he decided to play.
Well, see,
I
when
don't
I
know what they
remember-
talked about, but
When I remember WC Don's, it was kind of known for almost a punk vibe.
and it was.
Yeah, and that's why I never went, because that just wasn't my thing. But
I had a
it's weird to hear
heavy-
you say some of those names.
I had a heavy funk band like Black Sabbath meets James Brown back in the 90s, Painted Bodies, and we played there a couple times. I want to say with a group called Bang, Rob Wolfson singing.
The Rock Project was another band that used to play there. That was a band that they did covers, but they just had this following. They were a 3-piece band. They were really good. Played a lot of different stuff. Of course, everything was different back then.
Yeah, playing at WC Don's, like I say, it was a real trash hole. I swear one night we set up to play, and I just knew that drum riser was going to fall through. It was just, it was like a piece of plywood on top of some 2x. It was horrible. But
We
you
used
know,
to play at the Beacon, and the whole stage would be jumping up and down with the drums.
Oh yeah. That's kind of how that place was. So, I'd say one of my favorite places in town to play was George Street. I liked playing there. Hated to load in and
Except for
load
the
out.
stairs.
Yeah, that's it. I always
Or
liked
930
playing.
Blues.
You ever play there, Kevin?
No, I never
Okay.
played there. George Street was blues, wasn't it?
It used to be.
Mostly.
Yeah. So I've always been kind of a heavy rock guy, or that kind of thing.
Right.
Not metal necessarily, but just
Right.
80s rock or some of the classic rock, with Zeppelin and Nazareth and that kind of stuff.
Right.
I'd be lost trying to play some of that stuff.
Well, in recent years, they've been having more, odd stuff, I guess. Talk about George Street, Old Tavern, whatever.
I haven't been up there in years.
They're not doing as much music as they used to do.
I'm not even sure I ever been to George Street. Now, we used to go to the Subway every once in a while.
Oh, the Subway.
Yeah.
That was kind of neat, kind of a neat place.
Love the Subway. I'd go to Martin's, close that down, go to Subway, close that down.
Yeah,
Then they go to Joker's, and then it was daylight.
Yeah, I'd always close down either Town Creek or the Lamar, and then it was the dock, until just about sunrise.
Closing down at the dock was always sad for me for some reason.
Yeah, I meant the night was over,
Yeah.
and then you had to drive home.
Not only the night was over, it's just, it's a different thing out there. People left over that you got to find on the docks and stuff, laid down here and there. It's like, oh, that's where Andy is.
Yeah. Missing him.
Checking the houseboats.
Yeah.
Well, actually, when I first started going to the dock, I was like 14 or 15, and that's what we did. We were actually fishing because it was like a little hamburger joint thing, and it didn't. I think they may have band night or something like that, but it was not the dock.
Right.
You could, at the end, the ticket area where you come in was right at the parking lot there. But at that time, you go all the way up to the bar. Basically, you just walk in, and we would catch all kind of big white perch and stuff there.
Yeah.
And I said, man, when I grow up, I'm going to be an alcoholic, and I'm going to go in there. No, I didn't say that to anybody. Cameron, what are some of your influences? We were talking about you were out in the green room, that you're like from the Delta area.
Yeah, I was born in Cleveland, grew up around Cleveland, Rosedale area.
Have you been to the Crossroads?
Yeah, and it's not in Clarksdale.
But it's in the area, isn't it? I've never been there.
Where they actually filmed that movie
It's probably why I'm not famous.
where they filmed the movie scene is about 2 or 3 miles outside of Beulah on Mound City Road on the way to Mound City, which got its name from
The mounds.
burial mounds and stuff in the area. But if I had to say where the Crossroads were, I would say it's the corner of Lusk and I forget the other name of the road, but it's right there at Dockery Farms, about half a mile south of Dockery Farm.
When you say that, are you talking about the crossroads in the movie or
No.
the crossroads in the legend?
Same county, but
Okay.
different side of the county.
So you're talking about the real stuff here.
Yeah, that's where I would say is, that whole area's got big blues history. That's real history.
Right.
To my understanding, there used to be an old sharecropper store there on that corner of those gravel roads. Walker and Lusk roads, I think is what it is.
Okay.
But it's not a true crossroads. It's kind of one road goes at a kind of weird angle. It's a weird place. But
Makes sense.
most of the Delta is really.
Yeah. The truth behind all these legends are a lot of times even better than the legend themselves when you get down to it.
I came from musical families. My mother's family was like into church music, that kind of thing. My grandmother was a member of Church of God, and they had really good music program there, so that was exciting as a kid. But on my dad's side of the family, more people are musicians than not. And I have some well-known relatives from my dad's side of the family that still play in the Delta. Marshall Hopper, Mississippi Marshall. That's one of my cousins.
Nice.
And I have several other relatives that are in the local, I'd say state music. But played music in my teens with groups around Beulah, and had a band then called Full Moon. And it was just kind of, we did get-togethers up in the Delta parties and stuff. We weren't playing in bars or even trying to, but had a lot of really big parties, and actually played at a shut-down winery up there one time, where a friend of mine was renting the winery after it shut down, and probably had one of the biggest, best parties I've ever been to.
Cocaine everywhere, right?
No, it's more of an agrarian thing. But anyways, I played with a bunch of country bands up there just because the opportunity was there to play and try to make some money. At the time, during the 90s, there was a lot of money to be made in the Delta playing country music. Played with Delta Rain and Sundown and Country Charm, where my cousin Wesley Bowen was actually the front man for that. Really, really well-known Delta musician.
So it is all up in your family then.
Yeah.
Cousins. Okay. You have a mother that played piano?
No, my mother didn't play any instruments to my knowledge, but she was like a church singer.
Good enough.
Yeah, good enough for sure.
Yeah, my mother used to play piano. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, Scott and I grew up Presbyterian,
Ah,
and
I grew up
In the
Baptist.
same church.
yeah, exactly.
I grew up Baptist, but I would have to claim Presbyterian now because my wife is.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, well, see, I was never exposed to church music that actually had a band until
No.
I was in my 20s.
It was pretty wild, really. As an impressionable child, when I was before I played music, I would even say it was kind of shocking, Just kinda-
Yeah, I was kind of shocked to hear this was at Word of Life. Now, this was still back in the 80s, but this was at Word of Life over off Terry Road. And we'd go up in there, and man, dudes like hammering on these drums. And I'm like, wow. I thought this is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Some other things turned me off, but the music was cool.
Yeah.
Time with a local group talking about religion. My mom is going to take me to a concert for my 19th birthday. And she said, I'll take you to a concert, but it's got to be a Christian rock concert. Well, Stryper was really popular at the time.
Nice.
And Mud Island Amphitheater in Memphis was still a really big thing. And so we bought tickets to that. And guess the opening band was Lillian Axe.
Really?
Wow.
And they had this song, Inside Out. I want to turn you inside out.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and we just had Brian on
Yeah.
a week or two
sure
ago.
did.
Yeah, I watched that show. It was a good show. Learned a lot about Brian that I did not know before. Couldn't have known before. I didn't know.
He's a good dude.
The depth of his history.
He's got a deep depth.
Yeah.
Really did. I didn't know it I remember I knew he had been around for a while, but we were talking about the Creek days, and I didn't know that he was underage singing at the Creek. I remember when several other people were like Jason was, but
Yeah.
he was another one of them.
Yeah. I only ever saw one show at the Creek, and it was Flinghammer. And I went there with Rob Givens and Ron Quave.
Oh, Rome.
Yeah. And that was, pretty wild show. That's a really good band at the time. It was really exciting.
Yeah, I played the same bill with one of Ron's bands. For the life of me, I can't remember what the band name was.
The only band that I remember that he was in was kind of when they were still teenagers, and I'm still living in the Delta to come hang out with those guys, and it was a band called Tia.
Tia, yeah, Try It Again.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
See,
no.
Jay knows more than I do
Mark
about
Wilson, I know Mark.
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't think that was the name of the band at this time, but they came out. I think they actually opened for us, and
Well, I think Eric played with him in a band for some period of time. Eric could answer that question better than I could, though.
yeah. But they came out and they almost sounded like Queensryche. I mean, they were doing like the dual harmonies like Queensryche would do and stuff, and it was like, wow.
Yeah. Well, even when I met him, I guess I was about 16. He was about 15. He was already a really good guitar player.
Yeah. He passed away
Not too terribly long ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad, man. He was a talent.
If we were talking about Matt Robertson earlier and seeing him at Damage Plan show, and that I saw Ron there too. After many, many years. The big difference was that I recognized Ron right off because he still looked the same.
Yeah.
And Matt was like, big old humongous dude. It took me a minute.
Right. Yeah, like in the Creek days, he was a skinny old dude, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of people come to the Creek.
Yeah, no doubt.
I was not into music at all back then. I was just a fan. You know.
I think
That's how I know everybody. Everybody assumes that I, they know me from somewhere. But that was it, basically.
I had my grandmother on my dad's side play guitar. I still have her guitar. It's a early 50s K hollow body, archtop hollow body.
Oh, cool.
But
Nice.
I can remember even being a little kid, I wanted to get up there and get that guitar, And I didn't actually start playing until I was about 15. And Morrison Brothers used to have a record shop / music store in Cleveland. That's actually where they started. I mean, I
Really?
I went to our local skating rink was their dad's skating rink. It's on the east end of town at Morrison Skating Rink. And I went there like every Friday and Saturday night when I was a kid. But I bought my first guitar and amp at that store. And
What was the amp?
it was a Peavey Backstage, just a little 112.
Yep.
And then I had
have
a
Pacer. Still got it.
oh, cool. My first guitar was a Peavey Manus Limited. It's just really kind of, almost looked like a flying V with another thing horn coming off the front, 80s style, But I think we didn't have much money. The only reason I was even able to get a guitar is they were going out of business.
Oh.
And that's kind of when they, really, I guess the store on 80 really kind of grew really well after that. But
There's a lot of history at that store.
oh yeah,
I worked for a bunch of the guys that worked there.
oh, cool.
Stephen Barnett, Trooper Hells, Andy Tadlock,
Yeah, I know Trooper.
Deke Conrad, Deke, however you want to call him.
Yeah, I don't know all those guys, but
Trooper?
yeah, yeah, it's like actually one of my mom's friends too.
Love that man's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Him and Connie both.
I never really knew Trooper. I remember, I knew Scotty.
Yeah, he used to do all the Jubilee Jam. They did all the
Oh,
production for
and
Jubilee Jam.
Ricky too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I played with
Ricky
Scott
Hells?
and Ricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ricky, Scott, and Trooper.
Yeah.
Or Robert, whatever you call him.
Scott was a real good guitar player.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, he was. And Ricky was a killer drummer. What did Trooper play? Did he play anything?
He does, and they actually used to record some stuff together. Sure did.
I only remember him as like sound guy kind of stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the chance to go out there on some really, really big stuff and go. but he decided he wanted to stay home and raise some girls.
Yeah, I've heard him
Probably a
play.
smart thing.
I've heard him play guitar and sing in his living room,
Yeah.
and it was a heartfelt delivery of some really good music.
Yes.
And that's the way that I know him. That was the way that I was exposed to him, was as a guitar player singer.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if you knew him now, what you would find is the first thing in the morning when you walk into work, he will find a song from the 70s and get it stuck in your head, and it will not be one that you like. And that's his favorite thing to do now to
Oh,
me
man.
every day.
yeah, well, I think I have that problem myself, getting, something stuck in my head and it not going away.
I'm not even going to tell you what song you got stuck in my head today because I just now got it out.
Please don't.
Hey,
Can you
Thanks,
hum a
Jay.
bar?
Can you hum a bar or two?
Well, we were talking now, Carlton's. Now we were talking about gear, and I am a gearhead. So when you first started out,
That wasn't the name I was thinking. I'm kidding. I've known Scott a long time.
I'm just here for y'all's entertainment, really, to tell you the truth. That's, the beard is my pet. Y'all can borrow it.
Man, there's
I don't
some,
know what that means.
there's some growth in that beard.
Yeah, Kevin and I grew up together. His
Yeah.
his parents and my parents were best friends.
Yeah.
Sure were.
Yep.
Cool.
So, Carlton, you find yourself, I won't give away your age or give away the time frame. You're talking about the best years, late 60s, early 70s. And when you went to buy your first guitar, your first bass amp,
First good one.
first good one, when you went to good one, I couldn't imagine what was on the wall back then. And what did you walk out of there with? And do you have it today?
Flip open any cover of the real 3-piece Grand Funk Railroad, and you'll see it. I have a 71 model Sunburst jazz bass that I bought.
A Fender jazz
that my
bass.
mom bought for me. I slaved to pay her back, but best I could. But anyway, yeah, Fender jazz bass. I had a copy of it, of one, and then some little cheap amp I had it was fairly nice. But my first real amp was a PV Festival 800 series festival amp with two 18-inch folded horn enclosures. I got a picture of me standing at, I think the original Pearl Day they had over there with the Lee Zebert Band, standing there by it, playing one of those little keyboard things you blow, I forget what they call it, melodica or something like that. I was sitting there, had that bass strapped on me, and I was playing that thing, and my amp standing there behind me. Looks like a refrigerator. Of course, I got a great big fro and everything.
I was fixing to say, how many people did it take to move it?
One guy with determination. No, they were pretty heavy, but I lugged that joker by myself. I still got the top, the amp part, but eventually got rid of the speakers. Now I've got some really good amps. I mean, I got a Fender 65 model Fender Bassman 215 setup that I love to play on. I've got SWR. I like SWR equipment, but the bass I use the most, or amp I use the most around now, is a Ampeg.
Ampeg?
Yeah.
And you still use an amp also? Are you?
Yeah, I use Ampeg amps.
Ampeg. Okay.
My favorite model that I'm using to play with right now is a Ampeg Superjet 112 50 watt. I play it at a low volume, but it's still plenty of headroom.
Oh yeah.
Really
Tube or
loud.
solid state?
All tube.
Yeah.
It,
Generally, you have to crank a tube amp to get the sound out of it.
yeah, these amps are
What's the wattage?
50.
Well,
The one I use for rehearsal 17, but it still has that same kind of sound. If you wanted to compare it to like a Fender, it is the exact opposite. It's more like a Marshall sound, that kind of bigger mid-range, bigger bottom.
Yeah.
Great for Gibson guitars, Gretsch guitars. That's mainly what I play. I've got some nice Fender guitars, but I don't play them.
So Jay, when you on your set, are you more of like you have like a big set? You like small sets? So keep it simple.
I have a big set and a small set.
Good answer.
For the most part, I use my bigger kit. It's a 6-piece.
Mm-hmm.
He likes the floor toms, so have double floor toms,
Mm-hmm.
and but I also have a 4-piece jazz kit.
Okay.
It's a Yamaha hip gig drum
Okay.
set, and I like playing it, but I haven't played it in a couple of years, and just been sticking to the big kit. I like that because I like to hit stuff. So
That bigger kit,
Yeah.
that bigger kit is a bigger bedrock kind of sound,
yeah,
especially for a 3-piece.
So that's the cool thing about a drummer. He gets to beat the shit out of stuff.
Yeah.
right.
And that's something sometimes you just need to let out that aggression.
And sometimes a drumstick will slip on purpose.
hit who in the back of the head? Cameron
Whoever
or
needs it.
Carlton?
Whoever needs it.
Yeah, whoever
Yeah, we do get sticks thrown at us.
Sorry.
Whoops.
We do get sticks thrown at us a pretty good bit. But talking about that big set, that is a preference of mine, and Jay knows that.
Yeah.
I've voiced it
I've
many,
been
many
talked down to the
times.
small set many times.
There's several of my songs, the way that they're structured, they're very simple songs from a chord progression point of view, but rhythmically they're not. They're intricate with rhythms, and if you don't have that big drum set with the toms, you don't get the same effect with some of those songs.
So when you're writing the songs, are you keeping all that in mind? Like you
Yeah,
don't necessarily have to have it
there's
there,
a-
but you're
There's a song that I've got in mind that I'm thinking about, the Ballad of Midian Hellcatcher. It's a 6/8 funeral dirge with guitars, and the drums and the rhythm section period is the most integral part of that song.
Yeah.
And I don't know what style of drumming that you would call that, but it's almost like it's not an Irish influence. It's
well, let's ask the drummer.
It's I don't know. it's a lot of toms in it. It's more of a
It reminds me of some of that
Tarzan.
Burundi.
like jungle beat kind of thing almost.
It's a monk drumming.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. You'd have to hear it.
But
Right. So you don't just write a couple of parts, a couple of ideas, and say, "Here, band, put something to it." You're more involved in what you want from them in the song.
Not telling them what to play. Maybe the feel.
The feel.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And then sometimes we'll play something and I'll tell them, hey, that song would be better faster.
Yeah.
And we'll try it faster. And a lot of that depends on the lyrics and how to get them out, as far as for the singer, of course, because sometimes you just can't play something that fast if he's got a lot of lines to get out.
Yeah. Be like playing Last Dance with Mary Jane at 120.
Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You are playing and singing. Yeah, it's a big job.
Jay and I had that worked out, though. I told him, I said, I don't give a damn how fast that guitar player starts it, bring it down when we start the vocals.
Right.
Or either it's going to be, she grew up in Indian town. It sounds like an auction more than a song.
Sold.
And I think if anybody needs to be concerned about the tempo, it'd be the singer.
Yeah.
I got to say about this band, it's probably the most natural feeling band as far as making music, whether we're playing somebody else's song or our song. It's the most natural feeling band that I've ever been in, and I've been in a bunch of them.
How many original songs y'all got?
That we could just set up and do right now. I'd feel comfortable with doing 8. It's hard for somebody that writes songs to try to talk about their own music without trying to sound like Elvis tooting their own horn. That's not what we're about. We leave our ego on the dresser at home when we come to band rehearsal. And it's more like a crucible for music than some ego fest.
We don't have no ego. We get back home and put on Steely Dan Asia. It knocks all that out of your head.
Yeah, real musicians. But what we're doing is creative. I think the songs that we're doing, especially the newer stuff, I play songs that I've had for years and years too. But the newer stuff that I've written is what I'm excited about, and got a bunch of newer ideas that are what I really want to be working on. I called it American music, Mississippi style, but there is an influence from.
Or is it Mississippi music American style?
Yeah, you could look at it either way. We're Mississippi boys, and there's influence of everything that we've been exposed to. Not necessarily just playing, but just growing up in this state. The types of radio you're exposed to, the types of music you're exposed to, be it rock or blues or funk or dance music. There's a little bit of everything to be enjoyed in Mississippi as far as music.
Right.
Well, you grew up in the hot spot for it. I mean, it just oozes soul.
Yeah, I was fortunate to be exposed to a bunch of the Delta musicians. I mean, I don't know if y'all know who Jim Ellis is. He's a guitar player. Had a band called the Road Rakers. Really cool guy. Duff Dura. I went to art school with Duff, and he played with the Tangents.
The Tangents.
I remember the Tangents.
Absolutely,
Wow.
the Tangents.
Wow.
Yes.
And his son Marlo plays now. He's a multi-instrumentalist, sings, really great guitar player, great drummer, and cool guy.
Well, you grew up in B.B. King's stomping ground.
Yeah, we went up to. I didn't even live 20 miles from Indianola most of the time, and especially when I lived outside of Shaw, and got to see B.B. King every year to his homecoming. It used to be a free festival,
Right.
Indian Bayou Festival. Got to see him, got to shake his hand when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
He,
Kevin, you remember your old neighborhood over there in West Jackson?
Mm-hmm.
B.B. King had a house over there. One of his friend girls lived over there. And he would come see her. And he'd bring his bus down Galen Drive and make that hairpin left right by your house in that bus.
I never saw that bus. I'm not saying that didn't happen.
Well,
but I
it's
don't know.
because it was after y'all moved away. It was when I lived in my grandparents' house after they passed away.
Oh, okay.
This was in the mid '90s.
Oh, okay.
oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Where was your grandparents' house?
Just right across the street from the church there.
From the Trinity Church?
Trinity, yeah, right across from their front door almost.
Yeah.
It
Wow,
was
I didn't know that was your-
it was one. You had that house in the duplex.
Yeah.
Another one's like the fourth house down, right?
Wow. I didn't know your grandparents still lived there.
Talking about BB, I think the pinnacle time that I saw BB that really sticks in my head, was not in Indianola. It was in Greenville at the Blues Festival, Delta Blues Festival. And I think if I remember it correctly, he did a co-headline with Albert King. And they were both on the stage at the same time. So that was pretty cool.
That was.
Yeah.
I have a cousin who, ironically, cousin-in-law, he took concert photography too, like I do. But he did it back then. He's got a nice picture of Albert King.
Wow.
During that time.
Yeah. We used to go to that festival every year.
He did too.
It's kind of funny. We would take a couch in there with us. Every year they'd let us through the door with. We'd find old junk couch, take it in there. Me and a bunch of my friends, Robert Rochelle, Robert Cotton, and take it in there. And once the sun went down, we'd light that sucker on fire.
Oh, wow. You don't want to haul it back, right?
Yeah, just burn that bitch.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. They can verify
Awesome.
it happened more than once.
I played the 29th annual Blues Festival. I think it was. I don't know. I got the patch hanging somewhere in there on a wall. And Bobby Rush had the main stage. And I had Third Degree had the Juke House stage. And I got to run sound for all the old guys. And the funniest of it all was old T-Model Ford. So T-Model was sitting down there. And I was making sure he was set and good to go, handing him his guitar and everything. And the most memorable thing about the whole event is that when I got through sitting, I had him all setting up, man, here, you good? Yeah. I said, you ready? He said, hold on, boy. And he reached in his back pocket, got about a half a pint of whiskey, bubbled that joker about 6 times, wiped his mouth off like that, put it in his pocket, said, let's go.
Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Jim Beam.
So it was probably $7 whiskey, but it didn't bother him.
You start talking about cheap whiskey, man. I start thinking about some cheap wine. Night train.
Night train.
Isn't that
gosh.
right about
Boom,
night train?
spawn.
I rode that train many times back in
Man.
the day.
Woo.
That was more of a Mad Dog. train.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh, you a
look,
2020 guy, huh?
I got a buddy in New Orleans, T-Bone Stone, Joshua Stone. And
Joshua Stone.
Joshua T-Bone Stone, little bitty guy, guitar player.
That sounds real familiar. Where's he from?
T-Bone Stone and the Lazy Boys. He's from Virginia or somewhere, but he lived in New Orleans forever. Anyway, he's got a song called the Mogan David Blues. That's what the MD stands for.
Yeah.
And the main chorus is, but it's a really good blues song.
Oh, you saying it's Cookie Monster stuff?
Kinda. He actually had a band called T-Bone Stone and the Happy Monsters too. We played several gigs with them in New Orleans in the French Quarter at a place called Checkpoint Charlie.
Yeah.
Not a lot of money to be made down there, but hell of a fun time.
Not a lot of money to be made anywhere.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, better stories.
Not around here.
And you talking about B.B. King. I met B.B. King. I sat on his bus with him and held and played Lucille.
No shit.
Yeah.
You get a picture to prove it?
No, I don't have a picture to prove it, but I've got a repair order to prove it. I built the engine in his bus. And a friend of mine, Eugene Irvin, we all called him Buckwheat, and Buck was helping me. And B.B. King was as nice a person as you ever met. And then before B.B. King, I built the engine in Bobby Blue Bland's bus. And old Bobby, when he was up on the bus, I come up in there and everything, and man, it was dope. It was thick from about here up, you know. When we walked up on there, we're like, So
Oh, when you say walking up on a bus and smelling something, I'm not gonna name a band or who helped me get there, but I remember walking up on a Christian band's bus one time, a touring band, and they had records out and they were pretty big and they're still big. But I walked up on that bus and man, there was some fragrance in that bus, but it was like a
It
cover.
wasn't potpourri?
It was
Potpourri,
it was
yeah.
like potpourri. It was a
Patchouli.
fragrance to cover up the real fragrance. You know?
Which only magnifies it.
Yeah. And I was just like, holy cow.
well, you know, God put everything on this earth for man.
Well, it's you know, it's a medicinal
It is a medicinal.
medicinal thing.
It is.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here. I've been watching shit on YouTube today about like I've got cholesterol medicine and even blood pressure medicine, and it's like, man, I want to get off this crap, and that shit is not natural.
No, it's killing.
Yeah,
It's killing all of
yeah,
us.
the statins, man, I can't take it. I got to get off this stuff. Maybe I need to start using the natural medicinal.
There are natural medicinal
Yeah.
things out there. I mean, the Indians survived a long time, and they didn't have no wall.
Yeah, what you think a peace pipe was?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You always grew up, hearing about peace pipes, and it's like, you just assumed it was just some kind of regular tobacco.
where they grow that tobacco out west.
It was rabbit tobacco.
Rabbit tobacco.
Yeah, it was rabbit tobacco. All right.
Grapevines.
Yeah.
So how would you guys describe your original music? What genre would you put that in?
Indie, yeah, independent for sure, but
Yeah,
I don't write for a specific genre. I don't set out writing any song with a specific genre, or hadn't wrote like a theme album or anything like that. I've got songs that sound country to some people and then sound just kind of southern rock to other people.
Yeah. So you would never consider it blues?
I absolutely have some blues songs that are hardcore blues. The lyrics may not be hardcore blues, but I got one song. It's a one-chord blues song called "Drink, Drank, Drunk."
One chord?
Yep, and it's probably one of the most exciting songs I think that I've ever written.
What key is it in?
It's in G.
G.
Yep, G dominant.
And
seventh chord.
never changes key.
Nope.
The whole song.
No, it's got some melodic motifs. one of them that I stole from Bugs Bunny.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, my mama done told me when I was in short pants. That's actually that little riff is from Blues in the Night. It's an old blues song. I want to say from the 40s, maybe.
We're merry melodies for a reason.
Yeah, big influence from all
Looney
aspects
Tunes.
in life, not just music. But Looney Tunes damn sure inspired that.
Well, when I think of, all right, if the key's in G, the whole song, and it never really changes, I'm thinking the melody of some sort is going to change on bass guitar.
Well, it's got a ton of stops in it. And that has a lot to do with, it's got 3 or 4 parts, and the stops on one part with vocals in between, and then the stops with the little guitar riff, and then solo sections. The solo sections probably have a broader, like from a guitar point, broader
Is the solo in
part of the
G2?
chord. Yep.
He just rides the G string.
Better be.
All right, well, Carlton, we got to hear your take on this. What are you doing during this song?
Yeah.
Well, just waiting for it to get over. Nah,
You're not riding G, are you? You
kinda-
got to be
dirty.
doing some walking.
what I do basically is I'll hit a G on the top string, and then I'll go to the octave and then do a little da 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 with the guitar, and then da 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 back
So
to
you're
the
kind of
G.
carrying the melody, sort of. Sorta.
We do it in
I'm
it's a
playing along with
unison.
the melody. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a unison.
Yeah. Now I'm wanting to hear it. And
Yeah, I want to hear it too.
Is this one y'all recorded or?
There's some recordings of it, but
Good
not like
recording,
there's not like a studio recording of it. I've got another one that's pretty fairly new song called "Hill Country Girl."
That's a good one.
It's in G too,
Yeah.
and it's just a basic 1-4-5 chord progression, a basic kind of country
What do y'all got
progression.
against 2 and 3? I don't get that.
Well, it's just a really simple country song, and
GCD.
It's a Mississippi song.
Is it GCD or EAB?
No, it alternates. It goes 1 to the 4 to the 1 to the 5, 1 to the 4, a 1, and then a quirky little turnaround.
But yes, it's 1-4-5.
Yeah.
Different speed.
Yeah.
But it's a good song though. It's a real
Cool.
good song.
There you go.
Cool
Y'all,
little
are y'all
song.
singing backup harmonies, or is it just?
We were so concentrated on working. We had this gig we accepted just to put the pressure on to pick up the speed on the learning of our guitar player and mandolin player Joe and Wesley that were playing with us. And we had this opportunity. Actually, the guy that did it, he wanted us to do it. He's such a nice guy. And I wasn't able to make the other, and I was booked on that last year and didn't make it. But this year I told him I promised I would not take any gig. I'd consider myself booked. And, I've made more playing with him than I did for a gig,
Yeah.
But anyway, we went and played, and we put these songs together kind of quickly, but they worked out very good, very good. And I would not doubt that we couldn't lay 5-6 songs down with very little going back.
Yeah.
We rehearsed them pretty good, and they work out really good. And the songs, as far as the genres goes, it's hard to say. We go from kind of rocky to like the other one he was talking about is more like a Celtic song, in my opinion. But we go from just all kind of music. We're not
Still-
stuck to one.
Still with an overdriven guitar though.
No, not all the time.
Well, like on the Ballad of Midian Hellcatcher, the
Oh, yeah,
kind of
well,
Celtic
yeah.
tune he was talking about. That was the one I was saying was a Irish funeral dirge, 6/8 time. I didn't set out to write some song in weird time signature. I actually wrote that song on an acoustic guitar. First Gretsch that I bought, it was an acoustic, and so I wrote a really pretty acoustic song that in my head I was hearing heavy ass drums to and louder guitar, a bigger rhythm than just that 6-string acoustic.
So Jay, when he's talking about that song, just staying in a G like that is, what are you doing that time? You just droning on around or going at it, or?
I throw little fills in there. Like I say, there's a lot of stops in it, so it's just jump, jump.
The rhythm is really carries the weight of that song. It is more of a rhythmic song than it is some flash.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
The drums are very predominant in it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep it
It's
fairly
hammering
simple,
out that beat.
but yeah.
Any jungle beats?
No.
Nope.
No, not
Or
on
Irish
that song.
beats.
Not on that song. We do.
These are bagpipes.
Yeah.
It would come closer than jungle.
We have a song. We have a song that Carlton's played a few times with us. That's a carryover from when we had Eric Ashe playing with us. A song called Jane Greystoke,
Oh yeah.
and I actually wrote it while watching Tarzan the Ape Man, and it's like Johnny Weissmuller's first Tarzan movie. And that song is about Jane Greystoke's desperation to find a man, to where she was so desperate that she went all the way to the deepest, darkest depths of Africa to find a dude that was raised in the wild by apes.
How did that work out?
It's a heavy song.
I would like to say it's along the lines of a Primus sounding song in a way.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
For
yeah.
you know what we did, yeah.
Yeah.
It has that kind
pretty
of
far
energy and wildness to it.
Yeah. We have a live recording of that from our rehearsal space from that time period. It's really raw. That's good. Got a bunch of compliments over that. Not that compliments really mean a whole lot. It's just people's
Cool song.
opinion.
Well, it helps.
Yeah, cool song. But I've got some heavier music, and some of it. We got a song called Mango Freeze that to me is an island song.
It's an island sounding type song.
Yeah, and Carlton's played that a bunch with us. It's an instrumental. It's got a vocal part, but it doesn't have words.
Right.
And
Vocal part with no words.
yeah, it's written like a lot like a jazz standard would be. You'd have your basic chord progression. You'd have a head, like a melody you'd play each time. And then you go back to your chords and have your solos. Come back to the head,
Right.
and it's got some rhythmic changes to it, but yeah.
And kind of a march beat in there with it too, I guess, and points. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm not trying to set myself apart as some great musician, but it's not like other stuff you're gonna hear around here anyway.
Got some good song titles. You put a lot into it. It sounds like it means something.
Mango Freeze is my favorite fruit dessert.
Is it?
Yeah.
I was fixing to ask, do you have any like meanings behind these songs, or you just kind of?
Yeah, that Ballad of Midian Hillcatcher, when I call that a funeral dirge, that the lyrics to that, I knew this person that was, distraught, was tired of living life. And I basically just kind of jotted down the things that she had told me in conversation, to try to help her with the, mental state she was in. But the things she was telling me about the way she felt about herself and why she felt the way she did. And so I wrote that song just kind of around that idea. Hill Country Girl wrote that, from my wife. So
Is she a hill country girl?
Yes, sir. She's born and raised in Simpson County on a cattle farm.
Wow.
The hills. But
I didn't realize. I've got ties to Simpson County myself, but I didn't realize there was any hills in Simpson County.
yeah, well, to a Delta guy.
Yeah, compared to the Delta,
well, yeah.
everything's a hill.
Yeah,
right.
you're right. A baseball mound would be a hill.
Trip over a fire ant bed.
Yeah, fire
there's
ant
a
bed,
big
yeah.
mountain.
Yeah. But we've actually got a lullaby that we do as well. Let me get a sip. Man, what'd y'all put in that?
Lots of liquor.
The only liquor we got here is Jim Beam.
Have you had any of that STS, man?
Yeah, yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yes, that's shooting the shit.
Yeah, I was going to tell you about the lullaby. It's called Sleep Well, Sunshine. And it's just a little 3-chord song. It's some, 1-4-5 kind of style song. It's only got 4 verses. but it's a lullaby, and it's a rock and roll lullaby.
Hmm.
It sounds rock and roll.
Cool.
But,
Lullabies and ballads. The ballad. I like the ballad of any title, like Ballad of White Fry, Ballad of Hank Williams.
well, Midian Hellcatcher.
Yeah, that sounds
That wasn't the young lady's name.
right.
But she damn sure caught hell.
Right, and it just sounds like a story, just a good story. And if you know anything about Mississippi and history of Mississippi and the Delta, there's just tons and tons and tons of stories.
Yeah. That's a hard place to live, man.
I bet it is.
It's a hard place to try to make something of yourself.
Right,
Hard place to work, that's for sure.
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's not probably. I can't. I've not spent a whole lot of time in the Delta, but yeah, I mean, I can't imagine there just being tons of opportunity, there besides farming or whatever.
Well, think of the Richland, Florence area, and then put about 5 or 6, maybe 10 miles between everything.
Right.
That's what
Right.
it's like.
I mean, what's up there? Cotton and corn.
Yeah, rice, soybeans,
Catfish.
mosquitoes.
Yeah, big
Sun.
mosquitoes.
Can you make money
the
on
sun.
mosquitoes?
Yeah, if you want
Cold.
to get sunburned and get some defoliant in your lungs.
DDT dumped on you.
Yeah,
Great place for football fields and baseball fields.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
If you've ever walked in the Delta after a small rain, you'll realize that is not possible.
Yeah, that's where they invented the word sweltering.
You'll take about, I've been out there working in the center of these fields on these big tractors and stuff, putting transmissions in them, and you'll walk around the machine, and by the time you get to one side, you're having to take this foot and push the mud off the other foot so it doesn't weigh 40 pounds so you can walk. The stuff just sticks on you. Your
Gumbo
foot will be this
mud.
big around. Yeah. I hated the Delta. It was
There's a lot of stuff I miss about it. And I guess a lot of stuff that,
And you've been gone from there how long?
I left there in my 20s. And
Okay.
I'm in my mid
And now
50s
you're in
now.
your 60s.
Yes, I'm in my mid 50s now. But had a lot of good times there. Played a lot of good music.
You got family still there?
No,
No.
a bunch of good friends. But I left the Delta mid 90s and moved to South Louisiana. And I guess my musical life there was playing on Bourbon Street, 7-Eleven Trigu House. Played there with T-Bone Stone and the Lazy Boys and another band called Lips and the Trips. They're both those were rockabilly blues bands. And it's a cool gig, though. It's like 4 in the afternoon till 8 in the evening on Saturdays and Sundays. Didn't pay worth a crap, but met people I would have never met any other way.
Speaking of pay, how y'all feel about the musicians' pay?
Musicians pay, I don't know, man. Most of the times you're going to get around, depending on where you're playing, $100 a piece.
Yeah, 150 a man.
Yeah, 150 if you're playing, some of the better places.
Yeah. And I think that probably the best thing to do would be is if you're looking to make money would be to do the solo or duo acoustic gig because you're going to make the same money.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't make sense to play in a band to make the same money because there's a lot more work in the band.
Well, I'm doing both right now. I'm doing a bunch of shows with the Mississippi Songwriter Alliance, and matter of fact, I'm playing the state festival in Ocean Springs the 20th and 21st of September, next Friday and Saturday.
Cool.
Friday
That's
night.
next weekend?
Yes, next weekend in Ocean Springs. I'm going to be playing at the Julep Room on Friday, and then at Murky Waters Barbecue on Saturday. And Saturday morning, I'm actually doing a Salvation Army benefit fundraiser over in Moss Point. Mississippi Songwriter Alliance is a nonprofit that I have been playing shows with for about the last year. Started playing some of those songwriter rounds last fall. And like I said, they're a nonprofit 501c3. And they do a lot of work like scholarships music scholarships for students. They do a lot of the work with VA and do shows for the VA. And they're putting on festivals all over the state. And we're going to plan on having one for the central Mississippi area pretty soon, and having rounds for songwriters just to come showcase their music, regardless of genre or age or, any of that stuff.
Right.
They also have a youth program where they try to foster young songwriters that are still in their teens.
That's good.
Yeah. Matter of fact, Saturday afternoon at I think it's the Mary C. O'Keefe building in Ocean Springs, they're having a youth rounds that afternoon on the lawn there. I guess I should have brought all those details if I was going to talk about it. But I'm excited to have that opportunity. And those are all original shows. They're not competitions. They're just showcases. And you'll see literally every different walk of life and story that you'd want to hear. Some tragic, some heartfelt, some are real, I won't say political messages behind them, but social plight messages behind them. And then you'll hear some of the best comedic type songs, like John Prine type songs.
Oh, yeah.
that you ever want to hear. I'm just excited to be part of that community as well. And these guys have helped me hone what I'm doing there just by playing that stuff a lot in our rehearsals. We rehearse every Wednesday, and for about 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, I see those posts on Facebook. Enjoyed it. What we were saying, it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not so much. We're not the kind of band that's going to go out and play a different place, 20 different shows.
How often do y'all try and gig?
Here lately, not much. We, had that one gig over Meridian and had a private show in Raymond, but we are working towards doing more shows, especially adding these other two musicians.
Have you tried gigging locally? I mean, really locally?
Yeah, we played a couple of shows out at Pelican Cove, and those went well, and had Marty Smith come play those with us.
Marty Smith.
Yeah. I wish I'd have known y'all were playing there.
Yeah, and I like playing with him because he has such a free kind of spirit attitude about lead guitar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's killer. He's a killer guitar player.
Yeah,
He's a pedal junkie like me.
His pedal board is humongous.
Oh gosh,
You wouldn't believe it now.
He still got the fuzzy pedal on there with the what was that?
You know
Heaven
what?
Bread something.
He has a pedal about this big. That's it.
And that's it? Oh, wow.
It got to the point where
He's so sad.
the old board I think he had like 14 stomp boxes on it.
Yeah.
And the old box just started coming apart on him.
Yeah.
And he was having to tote it out like a large platter. Mm-hmm. And, finally he decided to, just get one that would work, and it you never even missed it,
Right.
Marty started wanting to play with us because of the jams. And, I told him, we booked a couple gigs, if you want to come play. And I remember him sending me a message, and the gig was like 3 months off. And he goes, man, I got 100 gigs between now and then, and that's the only one I'm looking forward to. To me, that was one of the greatest compliments I could have asked for.
Yeah.
He's a really good guy.
I think y'all's music probably really kind of fits his style in a way.
Yeah. Well, I would say,
and it's wide open for him to just kind of let loose in his own
I didn't
way.
give him any ropes. It was kind of like, do whatever you want to do. He's a much better lead player than I am, but he would encourage me to swap leads with him.
Right.
And I think it probably made me play better to have him do that.
Well, the thing is, if you play with better players than yourself, it always makes you better.
Yeah.
Always.
He didn't have an ego though. That's what.
Yeah, no ego.
He doesn't have an ego.
Yeah.
That's why I've always liked playing with somebody better than me.
Right. Right.
Or somebody out of my league. It's always going to make you better.
Yeah. Oh, well, we were talking about James Schultz earlier. He played some shows with us, and he's kind of the same thing. He's a really good guitar player, but, still let me swap some leads with him and stuff. So it's kind of cool.
That's cool.
But when it's just us three trying to hold down the lead position myself, with the other guitar player and mandolin player that we've added, we just have broader melodic sections, I guess, in especially the cover songs that we're doing too.
Yeah. And it's really all about the melody. And as long as the melody's catchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you say cover songs, are you taking somebody else's song and just making it your own?
Not always. We do a bunch of stuff that I don't think you'd normally hear people do. We do a whole bunch of Bob Dylan songs, do a bunch of vintage, what I call classic country.
So
Hank Williams,
right?
George Jones.
So you don't feel the need to play what everybody wants to hear all the
Right.
time.
Yeah. It's not so much that. I think people want to hear those songs. Is everybody playing them? Nope.
Right.
But I think it also depends on where you play them.
Yeah,
too.
where
That's
you play.
it.
That's kind of why we've learned, pretty much a set of old country. We've got a bunch of blues songs.
The thing is, if you're going to play local, when I think local gigs for me or my band, I'm thinking Shuckers, Pelican, Black Axes, McBee's. Those kind of clubs are generally you're going to be in the classic rock to pop kind of area.
Yeah.
Where would y'all? Where do you think y'all would fit in as far as a club around here? That may be a tough question. That may be a little tough question.
Yeah, look,
I think we'd fit in at any of them.
Yeah, we'd fit in at any of them.
The thing is about this band is we're not a dance band.
Right.
We don't play a lot of dance music. However, we can play, if somebody says play something, we could play it.
Can y'all play funky music?
I knew you were going to say that.
If you put something in that tip jar down there, we can play anything you want.
That'll put the booty on the dance floor.
I think if from musician's choice, if I was faced with playing one of the two songs, play that funky music or Mustang Sally.
Oh gosh,
I would play Mustang Sally 100 times. Hell yes.
God, I can't.
Here in Mississippi,
I just can't do that.
I would
Nice having y'all.
I wouldn't want to play either one of them, but
I actually like play that funky music. I mean, I think that's a cool song.
It
But
is.
Mustang Sally just.
So if it's just a money thing, though, if somebody's coming up and saying, "Hey, will you play this song?" and you're like, "We don't really know it." Well, here's $100. Are you gonna play "Achy Breaky Heart"?
Yeah,
I'd play that over Mustang Sally.
There you go.
we were playing at Pelican Cove one time. I was playing with Doug Frank and Triple Threat, and a guy walked up to the stage, and he'd been standing out there looking at us, and he walked up to the stage and he said, "Play Free Bird."
Oh my gosh, it's only 8 minutes long.
Yeah, and Doug yeah, I don't know, and then he said, "I tell you what, give us $100 and we'll play it."
Yeah, I'd do it.
So the guy, he kind of just stands there a minute, and he turns there and walks off. He gets about halfway out from that stage upstairs at Pelican out there, and he gets about halfway out and he turns around and he holds that $100 bill up. Doug says, "Can you sing it?" And I said, "Hell yeah."
And I don't even know the words.
So I know the words, man. That's the Southern anthem. But we nailed that song, and I'm talking about did it with enthusiasm.
You added it to the set list, didn't you?
It wasn't on. No, I didn't get back on the set.
You said that was Doug Franks.
Yeah.
Doug Franks. I remember that name too.
Now, Doug was a phenomenal guitar player.
He did. He used to
Monster
He'd come up to Finian's and it'd be like a one man band.
Oh yeah.
Monkeys in the Box. That's what he
Monkeys in the
called
Box.
it.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
Doug and
Man,
I
we
pl-
lost that man way too soon.
Yeah, man, no doubt. I remember the last time Doug and I were going to play. We played at Slim's. They had a little party for him when he had that cancer and everything, And so Doug and I were there, and Harold and Jackie Broom.
I was there.
Jay. I don't know. I don't remember.
I had actually played a gig with our band at Lucky Town Brewery that morning.
Yeah.
And then we were having a party and that get together for Slim. And it was all us there.
And that after that, Doug played some acoustic guitar. I was on an acoustic bass, and It was a good time. We all had a good time. But I remember, I never will forget, at the end of the night, or Doug had a gig that
He had
night, a
two
solo
gigs,
gig that night. Yeah. And he was fixing to leave to go to one. So I grabbed one of his guitars, walked out there to him. I never forget, man. We hugged each other, said, "Hey, man, I'll see you tomorrow." 3:30 that morning, Mary was calling me, telling me, Doug has died. Doug has died. I'm like, what? And, it was just blew my mind, man. I had a lot of fun playing with him. He was a very, very smart person, and he was very kind and never really flaunted his ability. But Doug made them look like they was running in circles, man. He was a one in a lifetime
He sure was.
person to get to play with. Like
I never got a chance to play with him. I watched him a lot.
Yeah, he was bad to the bone. I loved playing with him, and I really loved him as a person. We become real good friends. We played together for like 6 years. My wife had a round of cancer, and I had to lay off for like a year to tend to her and everything and do what I needed to do. And of course, we were friends, and Doug's wife and my wife were good friends. And so after she kind of was coming around, everything was good. Doug asked me, he said, you ready to come back and play? I said, man, I've been foaming at the mouth to do it, But we had a great time playing together. Our very first gig that we had is Triple Threat. Doug and I played together at the jams a lot before this, but when he called me one night and he said, "Hey, man," he said, would you be interested in playing a gig with me? This is like the prom queen calling you, asking you, would you like to go out tonight?
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding? Yeah, I want to play a gig with you. He said, he laughed. He said, well, look, I got a drummer I think you'll really like. He said, I got a gig in Hazelhurst. He said, we'll do it. Well, I'd played with another band called Soul Shot for a long time. I forgot to mention, like 20 years I played with them. And we had played at that place down at Hazelhurst. What was the Sidetracks?
Yeah.
And so the very first gig I played with Doug and Big Will Divine. From the time it went pow on that snare, it was like Will and I were just connected. And of course, Doug, with that kind of platform built for him, a lead player like Doug can just do anything he wants to.
Exactly. I was in a band like that one too.
And when the bass and the drums have got you, the bass has got the note, the drums got the beat. When I'm playing guitar, I want a real good bass player and drummer behind me so that I can go out here way out in left field, and all I got to do is just listen and see where the bass is at. The drums got the beat. He's on he's on the 4. He's coming around to the 5, and I can come right back in for that 3-point landing. But when the music's so damn loud, or there's 10,000 notes going on behind you, it's a train wreck.
Right.
It's just a train wreck to come back in. The key, playing music, solo music, that's easy. Playing with a band, that separates the men from the boys, because NASA's got some chimps down there that can put a square peg in a square hole, but they just don't understand when the hole's too small or it's too big. So in a band, if you don't listen to each other, if you don't learn to play with each other, you're not going to be able to do a good live performance. Because when it's live, it's real. And there ain't no stopping and cutting and dubbing and adding this and adding that. You either got to do it or you don't.
It's either magic or it's not.
It's magic or it's not.
Right.
And so many times it's been magic. And I guess that's what's got me hooked on it. My job, I make $100 an hour, and I'm playing for $100 on a 6-hour minimum gig.
Right.
So it's not about the money. And
You just work 1 hour a day.
I could, but I'm greedy.
Even that's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible. But let me tell you something. It costs you a lot of money to make that kind of money, though.
You're right. Tell me about it. Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Have you been in the control room?
I don't. Have I?
Yeah.
I have.
You been in my control room?
Oh, no.
Talking about in here.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So
you need to come in here before you leave.
Yeah.
Going back to that, up till recently, y'all basically been three piece.
Yeah.
And now you've added 2 more players.
Mm-hmm.
So you think it was during that time that y'all wasn't ready to add anybody else? Y'all were keeping it all with yourselves as far as honing y'all skills
Yeah, the way
together.
we were playing
So
it,
now
yeah.
when you add 2 people, you can just put them in layers where you want them.
Yeah, it's still a
You don't
core
have-
band.
you don't-
It's still a core band
Yeah.
with added musicians.
It seems like it makes sense on having 5 people just come together and start playing. It can get like Carlton's talking about, where you have a lot of stuff going on. But if you have this solid
If you
band and add just a couple of little things in there,
Yeah.
if you keep the volume right, not only can you hear each instrument individually, but you can actually have dynamics that are just out of this world. To me, turning it up and just blasting and feedback and all this kind of stuff. I mean, that's all well and good if you're playing Freebird, but when you try and play other things and stuff, I mean, I usually, if I was playing lead guitar, I run my guitar on about 7 so that I can come up, I just twist the knob till it stops, 10, and I can play, and then I can bring it back. But many lead guitar players, they turn it up to 10, and then the next thing you know, they're turning their amps up, and it's up, and then it's up, and finally it's just a whole bunch of noise.
Yeah, they hit a boost pedal just
Yeah.
throw them out
Yeah,
there.
the way I run mine is I really, for the most part, don't have a clean channel. I just back the volume off to clean it up.
Yeah.
But I do have a boost just for solos or certain things that need to be enhanced, or but yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same sort of way.
Man, for years I have a Fender Blues DeVille, and if I was playing guitar, I walk in with a guitar, a cable, and the Blues DeVille.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got 2 channels, clean and mean. You don't need nothing
Clean
else.
and mean.
Yeah. What I'm using is, of course, a Boss tuner, and then I'm plugged into a JHS Bonsai, which basically is every Tube Screamer variation that's ever been made.
Oh, you don't have a Klon?
Nope. and I keep my volume rolled back.
That's the Holy Grail.
I keep my volume on my guitar roll back to 7, so I've got a little. If you turn up the juice on that, trust me, that lead will sing right over everything.
When you back your guitar volume off, I mean, you're not looking at the numbers.
No.
I mean, it's got to be by what
By
you
how it
hear.
sounds, yeah.
By what
And
you hear.
A lot of times I'll have a rhythm, I'll have that overdrive on, but if I'm playing a soft rhythm, you don't even hear it. It's not really until it kind of reacts to your attack.
Right.
And the only other thing I use is sometimes for lead, I'll use a Roland Space Echo, and it's just a tape simulator. It's got tap tempo, but pretty basic, just rock and roll, straightforward rock and roll sound.
Right.
No frills, no big Eric Johnson reverb and delay on all the time.
Right.
Yeah, but man, he's a master at that.
Oh
shit.
yeah, I wasn't saying that
Oh,
bad.
my gosh.
I've seen him live twice, and it was
His
jaw
tone is
dropping.
amazing.
Yeah.
But it's all old school stuff.
I thought he was going to be a lot bigger person than he is.
You mean physically?
Nate Plissken. I thought you were bigger.
Are you talking about physically?
Yeah, like a big guy. I thought he was going to be a big guy.
Nah.
TV
Well,
makes
I
you
mean,
look
I've never
bigger,
met
man.
him, so I don't know. But he doesn't look very big to me.
Well, yeah, basic equipment, basic rock
But see,
and
I
roll.
thought the same thing about David Lee Roth, and then he walked past me one time, and I was like, "He's a little motherfucker."
Yeah.
But his bodyguard next to him
Was a big
was a
one.
big guy.
Big old
I'm a
dude.
big guy, but he was a really big guy.
Oh gosh.
Well, Jay, what about your equipment? You were a single bass drum, double bass drum, double bass
I
pedal?
mean, for our band, I pretty much use single bass. I have a double bass, which, at home playing myself, I get loud and play fast, loud stuff. But that's what I do in my spare time.
Your spare
play.
time outside the band is you don't have any other side projects, or just
So you're not playing Dream Theater in your off time?
Well, try to, but,
Oh, really? See, I don't even try to. I love Dream Theater, but I don't even try.
right.
Is it too early for 5 of your top favorite drummers there, Kevin? Or can we ask that yet?
Well, I'm not the drummer, so
Top
Well,
five.
Jay?
Top 5?
Yeah.
Okay, I can give you that.
okay.
Greatest of all time's Buddy Rich.
Yeah,
I mean-
I'd go with that.
Any genre, anything, whatever. After that, Neil Peart, of course.
Oh yeah.
I listened to a lot of him, and then Herb from Promise.
I've
let's
never
see.
gotten into Promise.
Yeah.
Well, you're just weird.
I am. They're weird.
Steve Perkins from Jane's Addiction.
Really?
Yeah. Who else?
No John Bonham.
Oh yeah, John Bonham. Yeah.
Weckl?
Yeah. Well, that guy's.
Oh,
freak.
that dude's
He's
a
freak.
phenomenal. Yeah.
I'm not going
He's
to
a
put
freak.
him in there. He's on his own planet somewhere.
Yeah. I like his
Oh,
planet
I watch
too.
his videos all the time. I have to stop. I'm like, how do you do that? But
I watched his video to see what camera he was using, and I bought the same camera.
right. And then after that, I don't know. It's wide open. I grew up listening to Metallica. Lars isn't the greatest drummer ever, though.
No, but he fits them. He fits them
them.
perfectly.
He does.
He does.
He does.
And, but that was one of my big influences coming up, I guess.
Well, if we put it in perspective, when they first come out, he wasn't so bad of a drummer, really.
Right.
He's not bad.
A
man.
lot of people there wasn't much, hardly any music like that back
Oh,
then.
no,
You know,
no.
I'm talking. But
And he can play tennis too.
yes,
Oh yeah, that's right.
he can wear the
Yes,
shorts.
yes.
More importantly,
Right.
I think I think he gets a bad name because of his stance against Napster.
but he
back
was
in the
right.
day.
Yeah,
But he
kinda
was
screwed
right.
up everything.
He knew what was coming.
Yeah.
You know, and it did exactly what he thought it was going to do.
And we can't leave out Thomas Lane.
Interesting.
He's a freak too.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, Carlton, give us your top 5 bass players.
Mel
Who
Shacker,
influenced you?
Mel Shacker, Barry Oakley, John Paul Jones, Geezer Butler.
Clayton Pell.
I know.
Got him in there.
Oh, here
Got
he
him
is.
in there.
He's in.
We actually talked about him out on the patio.
Yeah, we did.
Has he played with y'all?
No, I met Clayton 2001, I think it was, at Nissan plant. We're both electricians,
Oh, okay.
and we were both still in school.
Yeah.
He was a lot young. It was like, it's been a long time ago.
And I'm gonna say both of y'all
Cool
are
dude.
great musicians. Well, yeah, musicians too, but electricians, y'all are both really good. And I want to give a shout out for Cameron because he did my electrical in the studio in the room that y'all are in right now,
It hadn't burnt down yet.
and it cost me a fucking fortune.
Oh my God.
No, I'm
Oh, we
kidding.
got to tell that story.
I'm kidding.
I kept telling him, man, I'll come help you, but I don't want you to pay me nothing, man. Just let me help you. So I come over here a couple times, and we were still kind of deciding what he wanted to do. And so he was basically saying, I'm going to pay you something, tell me something. So we decided it's going to pay me, whatever it was.
I forgot about this.
And so came time to write the check. And she says, how much do I write this check out for? And I was just
We're talking about my
joking.
wife.
Yeah. I was just joking. I said, $2,700. And I laughed. We all giggled. And she handed me the check. I put it in my pocket. And I said, bye, y'all. Got in the truck. Got down the road to the stop sign, and something told me to look at that check, and I pulled it out, and she wrote it for $2,700. I turned around right there. I came back. I was like, man, I'm so sorry, but I was just kidding. And she didn't know, and they didn't talk about it.
No, we didn't talk about it. And I didn't laugh about it.
Yeah, it wasn't nowhere near that. So, anyway.
And thank her for being here tonight and handling everything behind the scenes.
Yeah,
for
she's
us.
doing Scott's job tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you
Shout out
very
to my
much.
wife, Kim.
Yay.
Thank you, Kim.
She's the food maker too.
Oh,
yeah.
man, those taco things.
Yeah,
Taco,
they're great.
Taco pocket.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to have that recipe. Yeah.
She's made them before, and I was thinking about that on the way over here. I said, I know it's going to be too early for her to do that again, but I can't wait till she makes that again. And
They're good.
I walked in there and saw that and said, oh, I know it's really going to be a good night now.
You talking about the taco
Cupcakes?
Cupcakes? Is
Yeah.
that what you call them?
taco cupcakes. That
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yeah.
That was my old high school nickname, Taco Cupcake.
That's not what I called you.
What did you call me?
I don't know. I don't remember. Probably Scott.
I was always Cindy's little brother or Sharon's little brother. That's what I was. I didn't have a name.
Well, you and your sister Sharon were closer to my age than Cindy.
Right.
And so I didn't know Cindy that well.
Oh, Cindy was great because she graduated.
I love Cindy.
When I was in 6th grade, so I got to ride home with senior girls.
Yeah,
I had no idea why I was buzzing so much. You know, I mean, when I say buzzing, my body was doing stuff I had no idea. You know?
I bet it was.
I found out later why. You know, the next year I went through puberty. It's, oh, this is why. But yeah, I love the seniors, man. I always love older people. I always hung around the older.
You like older women?
schools.
You just say it.
I do. I'm moving from MILFs to GILFs now.
Oh my gosh.
And I met one this past weekend. No, I didn't. I'm just joking.
Yeah, I'm a grandmother. I'd like to, you know.
Yeah.
Y'all got to stop it.
Grandmothers don't look like they did when I was coming up.
No, they sure don't. They sure don't.
Break out the moo-moo.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like you can go out with a grandmother and be afraid you're going to have a grandkid the next day or nothing. They don't work like that. What does that mean?
I can remember thinking 40-year-olds were old.
You better check that baggage.
When you say baggage, never mind.
So,
Yes.
favorite guitar players?
Yes. Let's
No,
move on.
we were not going to ask that.
No, we weren't going to. No, it's not your turn yet, Cameron. Go ahead. It's your turn now.
So I want to split that into favorite classic guitar players and favorite
Kevin Williams.
favorite guitar
Flavor.
players that you might not have heard of, but you
Favorite
should.
flavored guitar players.
Kevin Williams.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've heard stuff you play, man. You play good.
Kevin Williams.
Yeah, you play well, man. I enjoy it.
I do this every time we do this.
You
I'm
can
like, Kevin
taste
Williams?
his tone.
So I was when I first started playing guitar. Obvious, it'd be Hendrix, Tony Iommi,
Yeah.
Gilmore,
Yeah. Oh, I love Gilmore.
Mick Ronson.
Say it. Say it.
I don't know, man.
CC DeVille.
No. I mean, I listened to all that kind of stuff when I was a teenager, but I would never.
Wow.
I'm not going to be naming him. I ain't got nothing against him.
He's actually not that bad.
But if I wanted to name guitar players that I thought people should that don't get enough credit, I would say people like Sean Lane.
Yeah.
That dude, I don't know, man. He was like not of this world good. If you don't know who that is, you need to look it up. I had a band in the 90s, that heavy funk band, Painted Bodies. We got to open up for Sean Lane, Jonas Hellborg, and Kofi Baker, Ginger Baker's son, at Newbies in Memphis. And, we were like heavy funk, loud guitars, loud
I can't
vocals.
imagine you playing heavy
I
funk.
can't either.
Yeah, well, anyway,
It just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't seem.
And
Doesn't look right.
we had a drummer, William O'Brien, a big, humongous black guy from Greenwood, Mississippi. He was our drummer. He was just heavy on the bottom. But playing that show, it was basically a who's who of local guitar players and musicians came to that show to see this, band play, and we got the opening spot. And it was like fish out of water. Everybody standing there like, when are y'all going to be done? And we had a 30-minute show. They gave us 30 minutes. We did 9 songs in 30 minutes.
Wow.
And just bam, 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 bam. And we got a bunch of good compliments after coming off stage. But once the other guys started playing, it's kind of like anything we did just kind of faded into thin air, man. Sean Lane was kind of guitar player, one of the most gymnastic ability, just sheer, physical ability of playing on guitar. And he would sing every note that he was playing. It's really cool to have that opportunity.
So your 5th favorite guitar player was what? Corey Feldman? Is that what you said?
Corey Feldman. I am not a Corey Feldman fan, mainly because of his obsession with Michael Jackson. I'm not a Michael Jackson fan. Hee. I was going about guitar players. I think everybody should check out an acoustic guitar player, Monty Montgomery. I know Jason Turner knows who that dude is. Really, he plays acoustic guitar and eat most electric guitar players' lunch.
Ironically, I have quite a few electric guitars. My main guitar is a 1976 Hummingbird acoustic guitar, and if I can ever get the feel, the touch, the whatever in an electric guitar, I'd put that down, but I can't. I love that acoustic guitar, and I play it like electric guitar. I wore it out, had it totally rebuilt. I mean, totally rebuilt, and now all these years later, it's totally wore out again. I got to do it again because
Yeah. I think that guy, Monty Montgomery, plays a Alvarez Yari, and
Yes.
it looks like a boat paddle. Whew, it's rough.
those Yaris are nice.
It's so worn down. It's rough.
Had a guy had an acoustic group one time, and a friend of mine had a 12-string Yari. Do you on your acoustic? You said you play a Gretsch acoustic.
I have two Gretsch acoustics. One is a historic series Jumbo Sierra. It's a humongous guitar, and the other one is a Jumbo Rancher triangle sound hole.
Oh, okay.
They're weird looking guitars, but Joe Prine set up both those guitars. They're easy to play. They sound wonderful.
When he sets something up, they will be easy to play.
Well, he's done a ton of work for me. I got a large guitar collection, and he's done all my Fenders, all my Gibsons, and all. I got a big Gretsch collection too. He's done all those.
My wife bought me a Martin 0028 Eric Clapton Signature Series guitar. And it's like $3,200 guitar. And she brought it to me a night we were doing the jam. Was you there? It was at the warehouse.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
she brought it to me there. And I got it out and everything. I'm like, holy crap, And I was, tickled to death with it. And Joe said, let me see that guitar. He played a little bit. He said, let me take it home with me. I said, hell yeah. Look, man, when I got that guitar, it played better than any of my other acoustics, but I had a decent Epiphone guitar that was pretty good. Some you get a hit and a miss on them, But when I got it back from him, that joker played like a $3,000 guitar then.
Right.
And it still does. I mean, the action is incredibly low. I have a Gibson Explorer that I've had for like 48 years or so, 45 years, something like that.
Well,
And-
you're only 46, right?
Yeah, had it since I was in diapers. Feels like it. But the action on that Martin is almost like that Gibson. It's unbelievable for an acoustic guitar.
Is he still in Terry?
Yeah. Yeah, I just picked my bass up yesterday. I carried my 2000 model anniversary jazz bass up there over to him I kept thinking, man, this action is just my G&L. I have an old G&L. It's like the first year built. I love that guitar. I wouldn't take a whole bunch of money for it. I guess I would sell it, but it'd have to be a whole bunch. But I love it. I love playing it. And he had set it up for me. And it's just incredible the way it does.
Yeah, I'm talking
the way
about
it
Joe.
plays.
Yeah, I've got a 1991. There's a story behind this. I've got a 1991 HD 28 Martin that I bought from my cousin's wife. Scott, you remember Randy, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, he passed away a couple of years ago. And I remember even right after he bought this, he told me, he's like, man, I bought a Martin guitar. And I'm like, really? Because he didn't play. I'm like, why did you buy a Martin acoustic guitar? And he was like, well, just for the investment. I mean, he was smart with money. So I bought it for the investment. I mean, back then he paid $1,800 for it.
Wow.
And new, 1991. And he didn't play, not one chord. And he passed away, a few years ago. And his wife contacted me not too long ago, and she was like, well, I've got obviously a bunch of his stuff. Is there anything you want? And I was like, look, I don't know what all he had, blah, blah, blah. And then it dawned on me, it's like, I remember him 30 years ago telling me that he bought an acoustic guitar. And I was like, so I told her, I was like, I remember him telling me he bought a Martin acoustic guitar. And she was like, I don't know anything about it. And I was like, well, I mean, he may have sold it. I told her he may have sold it. But there's a guitar he bought, an acoustic guitar. And, if you run across it, I will buy it from you just to have my cousin's guitar, Well, about 3 or 4 days later, she contacts me and she's like, I found that guitar. I remember it sitting in our closet and I thought it was a gun case.
Wow.
I did not know it was an acoustic guitar. And I was like, I'll buy it. I'll buy it from you. And, so I bought his 1991, never played, strings never changed, HD 28 Martin guitar. And of course I paid a lot more than $1,800 for it, but, I wasn't going to rip her off, but, so I've got that and it's sitting in here with me in the control room and it's still got the original strings on it.
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Wow.
So when you were talking about Joe and of course setting up guitars, I'm thinking, I really need to get him to get a hold of this guitar and set it up the way it needs to be set up.
Oh, he'd love that.
Yeah.
I'd love to get back in touch with Joe. I haven't talked to him in 20 something years. I don't know if I said something that he took out of context or what, or I don't know why we quit talking. I have no idea.
Well, sometimes you just lose touch with people. I mean,
I
there's
guess
a lot of
so.
people that, I've done that. Joe's the same way. I mean, I used to talk to him all the time. Back when, do you remember Max Yeager?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
When he had Max's guitar?
That's what I'm saying. That's where I met Joe at.
Exactly. That's where I met Joe at, and we became friends and stuff.
Lip King used to come over there.
Yeah.
Lip King. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I'm friends with his son, Jacob.
Jacob. Yeah, he's got a couple songs.
Yeah, Jacob's a great musician.
Oh, absolutely. He was a great musician way back then when he was a kid.
Yeah, I jammed with his dad several times, and we'd go over to his house in South Jackson and jam. And of course, at that time, Jacob was just a kid,
Right.
But then I ran across him. I went to the Hideaway to see some bands play, and Jacob was playing. I did not know it was him though, and I was thinking, man, he was playing with. It was just him and a drummer.
We played that night too.
Did you?
Yep, sure did.
Yeah, he was playing. I mean, I don't know if he had some looping or something going on. I don't remember what it was.
He had a looper and he had a drummer, and I remember him doing Funky Town.
Yeah, I was just like blown away.
And
I was like,
good.
holy cow, man.
Oh yeah.
And it was good. It sounded good.
That dude's incredible.
I couldn't believe he was playing that. But
He's way better than his dad.
yeah.
Sorry, Mark.
Mark's a good guy. I
he
actually
is.
worked for him for a little bit.
Did you?
Yeah, at his little store. I was going to school and working and stuff like that. And he gave me the opportunity to, make a little money working with him. Good guy.
Yeah. Jacob's a really good guy.
Yeah, Jacob, his son. Yeah, the whole family is good people.
Yeah.
They really were.
Usually can catch him playing at Jose's
Yeah.
in Pearl, Tamale Place.
Yeah. I need to get in touch with Jacob and shit.
I need to get in
probably
touch
even
with
have him
Mark.
on. Yeah, I haven't talked to Mark in a long time. I tell Jacob every once in a while, it's like, hey man, tell your dad I said hello. And, but of course I don't ever, he's not online as far as I know or anything.
Well, all right. We've had a really good night here at STS Podcast at Eastwood Recording, Florence, Mississippi. Tell me, guys. We have Cameron, Jay, and Carlton from Once We Were Saints. How can we find you? Do you have a Facebook page?
Yeah, we got a Facebook page. We Were Saints. Once We Were Saints.
Nice. And you have some. You said y'all fixing to go into the studio,
We
maybe.
have T-shirts.
Oh yeah, we got
Nice
some
shirt.
T-shirts.
Can you get a look at that shirt? Absolutely.
Oh, is there a meaning behind Once We Were Saints?
One of our bandmates made a statement that none of us were angels,
Yeah, well, we
And,
already know that.
And so I don't know how I came up with Once We Were Saints.
Just one
but
time.
It's
It was
it's
one of
kinda
those band
stuck.
names when he threw it out there. We were like, yeah. Just
Now I'm
Stuff
thinking
like
once
that.
we were saints, now what?
I guess we're on a road to redemption.
The lost highway.
Now we are. What would be your word? Now we are.
Oh, am I supposed to answer?
Yeah, you started it.
I don't know if I'd have an answer for that.
We just leave that up to the
Now we're a
audience.
work in progress.
Well, man, it's been good having you guys on tonight.
I appreciate it. We've
Yeah,
So
enjoyed
we've enjoyed it.
so people can find you on Facebook at once,
We Were Saints.
once we were saints.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll be waiting for that music to come out too when you get you in the studio.
Yeah.
Hear you.
When you get that stuff recorded, let some people hear this stuff.
Thank you.
So good having you guys. Scott, what you going to tell us?
Well, I'm going to tell y'all to check out our Facebook page, STS Podcast. Find us on YouTube.
Subscribe.
Instagram.
Whatever you do, subscribe.
Absolutely. Subscribe, like, tell your
STS.
friends, and share.
Beware the sweet tea.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The green room is dangerous.
The green room is dangerous. But we thank you guys so much for coming. Jay, Carlton, Cameron, it was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting
Yes,
you.
nice.
We enjoyed it.
Nice meeting
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing y'all again in the future for sure.
you. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we'll get you back too.
All right. Sounds great.
Well, like I said, wonderful having y'all here. Y'all check us out on Facebook, Instagram, share, and
Share, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube.
Really subscribe on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really free. It's
Makes
not
a
like
difference.
it's not like $10 a month or anything. It's actually $0 a month. Just hit subscribe. It would really help us to continue the show.
good night.
Good night, y'all.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks
Y'all
for
come
being
back
here.
now, you hear?
Yeah.
Come back now, you hear. That's it. That's it. Y'all come back here, check out for that. We'll have this out in a few days.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.